What's up, my nerds? It's ToastedLombax back with a new video, and this is YuGiOh Master Duel, in which I will be going over some replays with my good friend Marty C137, who is a Twitch streamer. How are you doing today, Marty? Are you okay?
I'm good, my man. How are you?
I am not too bad. And are you ready to see some disgusting plays?
I am ready to see some duels.
Good
I always
stuff.
love the way they say that stuff in the TV show, man.
Oh yeah, like they put power behind that word. It was like a duel. I was like, yes, I feel the power. But yeah, so we got 6 of the very specific deck that we're going to be looking through, which is my Royal Flush deck. I keep coming up with different names for it, but I think Royal Flush just works because it's Jacks, Kings, and Queens Knight. So let's get started with the first one.
I'm looking forward to it.
Ooh.
Ready to see the combinations. It's going to be brilliant watching this because, I mean, you helped me build my deck on this, so...
Ah, no, that's cool. I mean, this one's...
Good to see what you come up with when you haven't got me sat there going, what's that doing? What's that doing?
Well, I mean, that's the whole point of this, is so you can, like, see the showcase of the deck, and you can be like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool, or I don't like that. See, the problem with the Jacks, Kings, Queens deck is it relies on 2 cards specifically. One of the trap cards I've got set down,
yeah,
and a spell card. So the spell card essentially lets you special summon Queen's Knight from your deck, add a Light Warrior from your deck to your hand, which you always go King's Knight, and then it allows you an immediate normal summon. So then you can get Jack's Knight out, and you got your triplet right there.
I was a good player.
Now the other trap card I've got there, that one is when you control no monsters or you only control Jack, King, or Queen, you can special summon one of them from the graveyard or your hand.
Yeah.
But its secondary effect is you can actually banish one of each from the graveyard and draw cards for the amount that you banished. But you can't banish like 2 queens, it has to be one of each. But luckily it's up to one of each, so you could just banish a Jack for no reason and draw a card.
So in what generation of cards would these be?
I'd say, like, some of the decks I've seen this go against, I think people don't expect the deck, so it's beaten some decks I didn't think it would beat. But it also depends on which version, because you'll see an evolution of what I have in the deck as we go through this, the replays.
Yeah.
Because I've actually taken, so that spell card I've got set, I don't use that anymore. I think it's too slow and cloggy. I used to run 3 copies of each of the the Link and the Fusion monster. Now I only run 1 of each, because there are other alternatives to go into in the extra deck. I mean, this guy's just big. It's the original one as well, so when Jack, King, and Queen came out, this was the first Fusion introduced as support for that deck. Ah, this is the spell card.
So this is where the magic happens.
So that spell card can, at the end of the turn, return a Light Warrior from your graveyard to your deck and add that spell card back to your hand. Now, I believe the reason for that being specifically is the original Fusion and the Link monster both have the effect of, if the opponent targets this card with a type of card, discard that type of card to negate its effect.
Yeah.
That
was very fast.
So that was just like kind of the plain boring one. I hadn't really tinkered with anything. I just put all the Jacks, Kings, Queens cards in there. Bam, done.
That was raw form. That was like raw form of the deck.
Yeah. And I think from this one onwards, we're going to start seeing different cards in there. So I've got the Xyz engine, so you can see the rank up magic there, like card there immediately. So yeah, this one's going to have the Xyz monster in. Oh, and I think this one actually goes on for a little bit, because I struggled against the Battling Boxes, because I was playing the real card game when Battling Boxes came out. So I knew what I should look out for, I knew what I needed to beat, but beating it was a different thing. So it's like knowing what to do and then actually being able to do it was a different thing there. So I panicked a little bit when I was...
Yeah, what happened there?
So he played Bottomless Trap Hole, which destroyed and banished my monster. But I think at this point he didn't start with the cards he needed to Xyz, because Battling Boxes go into Xyz monsters really quickly.
It does look like at this point he's just biding his time.
Until he can get this bad boy out.
No.
So Lead York.
Battling boxes.
I mean, this dude is insane. So if that card, or if any battling boxer card would be destroyed, it detaches one material, prevents it from dying, and gains 800 attack himself.
Ooh.
So that dude can get up to 3-8. Which luckily my monster is also 3-8. But there you go, so detach, makes himself big. I'm like, oh crap, I'm gonna have to do this 3 more times. But then he does what I didn't expect him to, because I didn't think he had the cards to do it. He goes and exceeds again. I was like, no.
Oh. So now is that 2 of the same? Ooh,
No, this one's a different one. I think this one just gains attack based on materials, but it can equip materials from other places. So then Lead York gets bigger. Then he runs into me. I'm not sure why he special summoned that. Maybe he just wanted to deal some damage that turn, or be ready for something. Because I mean, unless that's got something on the field, when his card is normal summoned, yes, it's a normal summon effect. I don't know why they would think to bring that out. So I'm panicking at this point. I don't have the cards I need. So this trap card, which this trap card is amazing. It activates, sends one spell card from the deck to the graveyard that has Jack, King, or Queen in its effect. And that effect becomes that for the turn. So you send the special summon one to get the triplets out.
Amazing. Ooh, this does look very, very hopeless.
It does look very hopeless.
1,600 life points.
And then I'm like,
nope.
nope.
I'm looking forward to see the clutch. Oh, it's coming, boys.
So like that spell and trap card combination there just gets me the 3 monsters, the 3 originals, straight onto the field, and I get them back to my hand. That's the reason why I activate it at the end of his turn, is so I can get them returned to my hand during the end of the turn. So I can do it all again this turn. What do I do?
You got to think
here?
as well, this guy must have thought, I've got this. This.
Yeah, this guy's playing Jacks, Kings, and Queens. What the hell?
Oh, you just took his life point, his attack point straight down.
Yeah, so Stylish Paladynamo is a really good card. It detaches 2 materials, targets a monster, reduces its attack to 0, and negates its effect. So I did it twice.
Let's go.
And then, because I'm playing this particular rank up card, I can go into that Utopia monster from the structure deck available. And just do some utterly disgusting things right now.
Oh!
Yeah.
Oh!
Yeah.
He wasn't ready!
He was not ready.
He wasn't ready! God damn!
So you'll see that combo come out a lot now, because I focused the deck. Even though I think there's 7 cards in the deck that are to do with that particular play. The rest of it's still very much Jacks, Kings, and Queens at this point.
Yeah.
But I've kind of specialized the deck to going into that as and when I need to. Well, let's start with a bad hand like this right now. This is not a good hand. Oh, and it's Ancient Gears as well. I think I was particularly proud of this one, because again, I knew the power behind Ancient Gears. If they get the right monsters out, it's really difficult to get past them. I mean, I don't know if you've played Ancient Gears yourself.
No.
So they're all about.
I used to play the original game. I stuck with the Red Eyes decks.
No, that's cool.
I built decks around Red Eyes.
See, I've always been a bit of a machine junkie myself. But I always played Vehicroids. Do you remember the cartoon vehicles that Cyrus used in? Yeah.
Yes.
I still don't have the right cards to make that deck, though. I need to make that deck. I need to be true
What's your
to my...
opinion on junk deck? You know, like the junk monster deck?
Yeah, I kind of want to build a junk deck, but...
I was thinking about it myself.
It's going to be inexpensive, because there's a lot of good cards in that deck that are going to be SR and UR.
Yeah.
And it's going to be difficult to build. Yeah, so that was a nice little afterthought with this deck. So I was like, since I can spam the field, I'm going to play this spell card which beefs up every warrior monster on the field for 200 points for every warrior monster on the field. So right now they've all gained an 800 attack boost.
That is brilliant.
And I think one deck, the opponent didn't play anything because they must have thought I wasn't going to go all out one turn. I got all 3 out with an extra card, played that, and just ran over them in one turn. I was so pleased. I was like, yes, cheap victory.
It's always brilliant when that happens. Or like when they turn first and they obviously haven't got the hand they need, and you can summon everything you need. Oh, that is a strong card.
That's the original big bad boy fusion of the Ancient Gear cards. I'm surprised it didn't go into the others though, because certain fusions, when they're destroyed, let you go into a different fusion. So that does surprise me.
Power at this point. You're definitely making him panic.
Yeah. And now I just kind of make it go further. So one of the materials I use to make this, if it goes into a Utopia, you can add one Zexal card from your deck, which is the rank up cards to go into the absolutely disgusting big
already
beefy.
Thinking 3 steps ahead.
See, I only have 3 copies of that in the deck. So the monster I have 3 copies of, and I have 2 copies of each of the spell cards. So just like I said, that's a 7 card combo. In the extra deck, it takes up about 6 cards, so it's nearly half the extra deck. But I don't really use any other extra deck cards with the things. I mean, I've got the Stylish Paladynamo, which is always a good option if I don't have the rank up card. Because when Paladynamo is destroyed, I get to draw a card as well.
Yeah.
I've actually kind of limited how many of the Triumph Jokers, so this big beefy boy here, which is like the upgraded queen. I did have her at 3, but she was just clogging the hand a lot at the time. So I think I've just reduced her down to 1 or 2. I mean, she can be used...
I've noticed that with some cards as well. Like, you can have these powerful cards, but if you have 3 of them in your hand, there's a chance that one pull, you're going to have all 3 of these cards in your hand that you can't use.
That's it, yeah. So you got to like think about, well, how often can I get it out? Is the deck really going to specialize on this? I mean, even Machina, where I specialize on getting Citadel out, I only run 2 because 3, if I start with 3 in my hand, I'm going to cry because I can't do anything with it in my hand.
Yeah.
This is the one. This is one I told you. Oh, it was only 12 turns long. Well, when you compare it to the rest of them, it's potentially the longest game I have on the playlist.
Definitely.
So
I'm ready for this one.
I hate this deck. I hate Erdlich.
I'd like to know your thought pattern going through this one, Toast. Let's go.
So this one...
We're about to see Toast to take on Snotface.
So with this one, it was kind of like, how do I survive? Like, everything he was doing was just a little bit better than what I was doing. I almost cried. I was like, this is shit. I don't like it.
So I'm guessing that card you use first then allows you to get those 2 out. Like,
yeah. I actually don't run it anymore. Because it's too slow. I mean, it takes up your normal summon. It only gets 2 monsters on the field, which can be great mid-game. So if you top deck it, you get that out, and then you can go into Stylish Paladynamo. But that can be too slow. Like, even at the mid-game level, if that's your top deck, and they've got negation on the field, you're just going to suffer. So I took him out. Don't play that one anymore. I still play the regular Joker card, because the regular Joker is really nice. If you send a Jack, King, or Queen from the deck to the graveyard, you special summon this card, and its card name becomes that. So it's rare if you... at this point, I shot my pants.
I was going to say, third turn coming up. He's got all these cards, all these trap cards on the field, 3,500. What kind of, if you can remember, what is going through your head? What plan are you trying to run through right now?
Right now, I'm just like, I need more cards in my hand. That's why I banished those cards from the graveyard. And even then, that didn't help, because he's just played Skill Drain, which really hurt, because all of my effects really come from my monsters. It doesn't come from anything else. So there's this big beefy card I got in my hand, that's useless now. Like, I can't use it. I was panicking. I was like, I'm just going to sit behind these cards. I'm just going to...
Just hide.
Now, I mean, the face card fusion card I've got in my hand right now is quite useful. So if you... Well, you can use that card to make any light warrior fusion monster, which I didn't really read the first time round. But after reading it, I'm like, oh, that opens up possibilities. Because there's a couple of generic light warriors, which just require a warrior in this or a warrior in that. But while you've got a Jack, King, or Queen on the field, you can use one card from your deck as well as anything else. Which is a really nice effect. Oh yeah, Goals and Match. So Goals and Match only lets you have one type of monster. My entire deck is Warrior Lights. So I mean, I was not affected by that. I imagine a lot of decks are put out by that, but I was not at all.
No.
Now I think I went into this guy just purely for beef. Like, he's big, strong, and he rolls over them.
And it worked.
But skill drain doesn't stop their effect in the graveyard, it only stops it on the field. So now he's going to summon that guy from his graveyard by sending one of his cards to the graveyard. Which is the most annoying thing with Erdlicks, is they recycle their spells and traps so easily and quickly. And I just didn't have an answer for a lot of what was going on here. I literally get backed into a wall. So we're on turn 8 now. And what was it, 13 turns in total, I think it was?
It was 12, 13, yeah.
So we're going to see how I pull this out my arse.
Are you thinking you're done, sir? Even with the life point difference, at this point, in your head, are you like, that's it?
That's it, yeah. I'm just literally stalling for time right now. I can't do anything.
You're just there for the XP.
That's it.
So
I kind of...
What card are you waiting for right now? Is there a certain card that you can turn the tide?
In this deck, no, there really isn't. I could have played Raigeki, which would wipe his field of monsters, but this deck runs all those trap monsters anyway, so even if I destroyed them, they'd probably just special summon one of those and be done with it. So at this point, I'm just kind of panic playing. I'm like, oh, I can do this, I can do that. So I'm just going for attack at this point. I said summoned. Special summon that for no reason other than to have it on the field. I should have played it in defense. Oh no, I put it in attack, so I was going to run over the trap monster. That's right, yeah. So then, I've now got warriors in the graveyard. I can start adding a spell card back to my hand. And I've just put the queen back into the deck, because you can't play that card without a queen in your deck.
Yeah.
Essentially, if you took all the queens out of my deck, my deck just grinds to a halt. And then another Erdlick, yay.
Oh, that one's all beefed up nicely.
Like, my problem with this deck is it's all just focused around that one monster, but that is literally the deck. It's nothing but spells, traps, and that one monster, which is how it's built. So I'm having beef with an actual archetype because of the way the archetype is built, and I shouldn't, because every archetype is different, have their own different styles. And it just bugs me that it's just this one monster over and over and over again.
Yeah, it's like you're not seeing anything different.
I kind of feel like, and I don't want to use this term, but it feels like an autoplay deck. It's like, you get this one monster on the field, you get your spells and trap cards, done, that's it. And I know people are going to hate on me for saying that, but I've said it now, it's not autoplay deck.
It's out there, it's out there. ToastedLombax exposed. He thinks it's an auto deck.
But I mean, I don't know if you've heard of the term, like, autoplay deck, but it's any deck that will always just do the same moves over and over and over again. Which I do have my own decks where that happens. Like, it's hard to pick different moves, especially when you're building a deck around a particular combo. You want to see that combo often and all the time. But there's not much you can do. Oh yeah, so I didn't do anything there. He just surrendered.
You just surrendered.
And he would have had me that turn. I had no further plays. Like, I couldn't get my spell card back.
Maybe he ran out of stuff to do, or maybe he was like, I am so bored of just doing the same moves, I'm out. Or he had to go for dinner.
I mean, that's the problem with autoplay decks, right? You just get bored of them. So this next one, as you can see, is only 4 turns long. In fact, all of them are only 4 turns, but that one is 3, but it's a different deck, so we're not doing that one. So we're going to play do. I think one of these might be one of the ones where I use that, that spell card that beefs them all up. I think it's either this one or the next one where that happens again. I don't even special summon from the extra deck. I just summon the regular guys and be done with it. Oh, and I never go into Utopia straight away. I never want to reveal that I have that until about 2 or 3 turns in.
Yeah,
unless they've got something big I need to get over, like this bad boy.
Yeah. Oh, what is that?
So, do you remember in YuGiOh GX where they had Reveal, Hammond, and I can't remember what the third one was. Essentially, it was like the pseudo gods. So it was the same color, the same style, just different designs. And that's like a fusion of the 3. So, because he has that beef on the field, I'm going to see if I can highlight it. There we go. So, oh no, 3 level 10. So it's not even specifically them 3. So if this card is special summoned or another monster is special summoned from the graveyard to your field while you control this monster, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls, inflict damage to your opponent equal to half its original attack. You can only use this.
That's a good one.
That is good, but now it's useless. So he's already got one monster with 0 attack on the field, and I didn't even change that. And now I just run over his stuff, but I don't think I deal enough damage. So then, spell card kicks in. Next turn. And then, let's see. Oh, right, Geeky. So he wipes my field. And I'm like, shit, I got to start again now. But he's got nothing on the field, and I've got Joker straight in my hand. So we get the 3 classic people out. See, this part is very much autoplay. Once I get that spell card, I'm just summoning the same 3 monsters, but what I do with them differs. Like, I can go into an Xyz play, I can go into a Link play. Yeah. I've actually been thinking about putting more Link focus into this deck. The only problem is when I use that spell card, it limits me to just summoning light warriors. And there's not that many light warrior Link monsters out there. So I'm kind of stuck with Xyz. Yeah. Or if I run a particular spell card, I could run certain synchro monsters.
What spell card would you need?
So it's one that turns a normal monster into a tuner. I can't remember what it's... I think it's just literally called normal tuning. But to be fair, that kind of card would only end up bulking the deck up a bit. You know, making it a bit slower.
Yeah.
And so I need to find fast things.
This match here, was there any point when you were paying? Oh, this is another one of those ones.
Yeah, so there's... But I think this one I genuinely won. Oh, yes, I know, I remember this one. This is one where he goes into the Erdlich fusion.
Oh.
So it's not just this guy. He actually has a fusion that's bigger. And I'm sure I do the same nasty thing to him where I just destroy him. For no reason.
Oh.
Yeah,
oh.
So he uses that creature there to fuse with him to make the big Erdlich, but I think he gets another copy of Erdlich on the field. Like, whatever plays he makes, he's got to make it now, because he's only got 1 turn left according to the replay thing. Yeah, there's the fusion card.
Hispanic about Hispanic?
There's
I'm very much going to say Spanner then. Panic plays.
Well, it looks like this is the kind of players that they go into on a regular basis. And don't get me wrong, the fusion monster is good. It just, compared to the Utopia monster, it kind of shut the bed.
It's not as good.
And like I said, not a lot of people play these Jack Kings and Queens, so they don't always have an answer for everything. So this guy, so 1 Erdlich monster plus 1 level 5 or higher zombie. This card's name becomes this while on the field, cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. Contribute 1 zombie monster and target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls and take control of it, but it cannot attack or activate its turn. So essentially it's a big, I'm stealing your shit monster, which is more used to get monsters off your field so you can attack directly than it is to use a useful monster, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I mean, now I've got my combo, So with that spell card, I discard the trap card, which then recycles more cards at the end of the turn. Oh, I remember this play.
Oh, is he blocking it?
No, so he was going to summon his monster that destroys a card on summon. So I know that that's the card I hate the most, because that's the one that hurts. So I just solemn warned it and got rid of the monster. I was like, no trap card for you.
Stop it.
So this guy is the best thing to happen to this deck in the world. So he's very generic, 2 level 5 or higher warrior monsters. If this card is fusion summoned, you can add a level 5 warrior monster from your deck to your hand, which that's by the by, I don't really need that effect. But it's more of its last effect. Once per battle, during damage calculation, if this card battles an opponent's monster with an equal or lower level, you can make that monster's attack 0. And his level is level 10 already.
Oh, so there's not going to be much on his level.
Well, it won't work against Link monsters. It won't work against Xyz monsters because they don't have levels, and effects that usually target levels won't work against those types. But against an Erdlich deck, where all of their monsters are level 10 or lower, it's just kind of beautiful, really.
Yeah, it's
So I literally went all out here. I burned through my hand. I made all the plays that I could, because I literally had rage in my heart against Erdlich monsters at this point. I was so sick of coming up against the deck. I think when I put this deck together, I was seeing 1 in 2. So every 2 games I was seeing an Erdlich deck.
It's crazy because I've not come up against one of them yet. Unless it's like a higher ranked type of thing, because I don't remember what I am now.
But I mean, these are all like gold levels here. So I imagine it does climb up pretty quickly. Because if you notice, neither one of these 2 was Erdlich. I think it was this one and then this one. But what I'll do is a cheeky bonus. I'll play through this one, but I'll probably cut this out of the video.
What's this deck?
Because I'm pretty sure this one's my Speedroid deck. And it was just such a satisfying win.
Oh, like, let's go.
And I was so pleased with it. But now that I've done doing this commentary video, I can delete them and start accruing new videos, because I want to try and do this on a once-a-month basis where I get some replays and get a video out with the replays, focusing on one particular deck at a time.
Yeah.
Just to showcase
That's
a little
really
bit.
good as well, because a lot of people are looking for new decks. Most of the, with the way the metas work,
Yeah.
most of them end up changing, so there's always people out looking for it. This deck looks insane, bro.
Well, I mean, I've always been one who's never really played the meta deck. I did when it was Light and Darkness Dragon. When that structure deck came out, I bought 3 and I played it, but it had Red Eyes support in there. I mean, you couldn't not play it. It was awesome.
Yeah.
But ever since that point, I've never played a meta deck. One, because they're really expensive to build in real life. Because as soon as a deck gets a good combo, that's it. Those cards' value increase, and you get gouged out for those cards. So this is the first time that you see the trap cards have got set.
Yeah.
It's the first time they actually come in useful. I've got my boss monster on the field that negates shit. They got to destroy me, and this trap card protects it.
Oh.
So, I mean, obviously it's Speedroids. It goes into synchro monsters really quickly. So, like, one of my friends was like, oh, Follow Wing, it's a bad card, you shouldn't use it. It's actually helped me way more than you'd think it had. It's such a useful card in this deck.
A lot of Blue Eyes combinations.
Yeah. No, I've seen a fair few Blue Eyes. Some of them focus on rituals, some of them focus on Xyz. Although, why didn't just attack into my Synchro Dragon, I don't know. Because now he uses the effect, and I negate it and destroy it.
Oh.
He had a 4,000 attack monster on the field and could have just run over me. Because whilst Clear Wing gains an attack boost against level 5 or higher monsters, he doesn't gain it against Xyz monsters. Because they don't have a level. This is why I was proud of it, because I came back after that. I survived on 400 life points and came back.
Oh.
I
This
think
is a proper underdog story, bro.
I think this is my going Super Saiyan moment. It was like, ah!
Eat the senzu bean.
I can't even remember what I did now. Oh, that's right, yeah. So Clearwing has an alternative evolution called Clearwing Fast Dragon, which targets any extra deck monster, negates its effect and reduces it to 0. And it's kind of, I think it has wording specific to Speedroids, which is really nice. Oh, it's so good. And this dude, he attacks twice, and every time it's involved in a battle, it gains 200 attack.
That dude just straight up, nah, I'm not doing it.
Yeah, he's like, fuck this shit.
That dude just straight up like, nah, I was winning, I'm not doing that no more.
Well, that's going to be it for this particular one, so thank you very much for joining me on this video, Marty. Let's hope to do this again in the future.
Thank you for having me.
It's quite alright, it's quite alright. And whatever it is that everyone else is doing, and wherever it is that you are, I hope that you have a great time, and I shall see you in the next one. Bye, say bye.
Get out of here, you can't stay here, leave.